So I just realized that most people fear buying small CC bikes just because of what will someone so and so think about me having a small bike. I think this is a very wrong mentality because you will be actually living someone else's life. All right, you are living in someone else's life. You're trying to fit in someone else's situation, and you're going to spend so much money trying to get this perfect bike that you think of. You think of a Taro, you think of a Vogue Rally, all that. And you know, when you want to purchase a bike, it's always good to have the budget for buying such bikes 3 times. So if you want to buy 125cc that cost 160k, you need at least 450,000. This is a rule. If you want to buy something, make sure you can buy it 3 times. So someone will go, if it's a bike for commuting, what does commuting tell you? Commuting tell you that you're just moving from one point to another. And as you are commuting, you are more concerned on the fuel consumption, because if commuting with a bike is going to be more expensive than going with a matatu, then you'd rather use the matatu. I know the bike comes with all these other stuff, but sometimes bike have hidden fees, hidden fees in terms of repairs, mechanics, all these other stuffs. At some point, a bike, you'll need some new tires, all this other stuff, and this is assuming that you never get yourself in an accident. You know, if you're in a matatu and it gets into an accident and you survive with some minor accident, you don't care, you just go to the next matatu. When the bike is yours, then you have to pony up everything. So if you are worried about buying a TVS 125, what will someone think? If these are not a TVS, just a TVS, but these small CC bikes, if you're just fearing buying this small CC bike because of what people will think about you, then it's a very huge issue that you need to deal with. The other issue is on, now I tend to see what is the difference between having something like a Sinore 180cc versus having something like a Boxer 125cc. You're basically both in the same category of bikes, but the person riding a Sinore doesn't really have much advantage than a person riding a 125cc or a 100cc bike. The person riding these small cc bikes is going to use less amounts of money when it comes to maintaining the bike, fuel consumption, all this other stuff. And if your goal is to commute, your goal is not to impress people, then the 125cc versions are the better option for you. Maybe you are in a constricted budget, maybe you are earning less than 50k per month. Now you put in expenses for the new bike, maybe the Sinore 180, not even the Sinore, maybe the Taro. Then an identical person like you who has a 125cc, you have a Taro 250cc, someone else in the same company has a 125cc, maybe Boxer, and then both of you are making the same amounts, both of you are living the same lives. At the end of the day, the person owning a Taro is going to spend more on the bike rather than the person owning a 125. But now the society will perceive that this person with a 250cc bike, they will blend in, they see as if they have money. But now your goal is not to impress anyone when it comes to if you want a bike that serves a purpose. All right, you know, like some of these big bikes are just for leisure purposes, and apparently you need at least, you'll find someone who is buying something like a 600cc bike. This person is already established in their own life. You see, this person has their own land, they have already built, they have generational inheritance. You don't have generational inheritance, you don't have all these perks that this person has, but you still rush to buy some of these. Some of these people who buy these big cc bikes are buying these bigger cc bikes and they write them off as tax expenses in their businesses. But you don't know about tax, you don't know about businesses, you're just an employee. You put yourself in the same shoe and then you wonder, why am I not proceeding with life? So don't fear small cc. Even a 100cc is okay. The biggest advantage with the small cc, like the small cc like the Bajajes, the 125, is that in case of anything, you're just going to become a boda rider rather than going to the Mjengo sites.